Hi, I'm Allison Lamb, and this is Weaving Green Justice at COP30, a series of reflections from the heart of the Amazon in Belém. Each clip captures a moment of meaning, weaving together analyses of delegate negotiations, stories of social justice, and interpretations of climate texts through the lens of green ideology. Here's today's thread. As more delegates arrived in Sao Paulo, my tests came in more casual settings. People always say that it's harder to speak in a different language when you're tired, and I knew that. But to actually be consciously aware of it, to use myself as an indicator of what a COP negotiator could potentially be facing, brought a whole new perspective. COP negotiators benefit from simultaneous interpretation, which was not available to me. But their level of discussion is also much more technically based, with the full meaning of each word being open to interpretation. The famous debate between shall and should in the negotiation for the Paris Agreement is the perfect example of this vernacular rumble. I may not need to contend with this level of lexical expertise, but I found my situation challenging enough. Not everyone knew that I don't speak Spanish, and it wasn't something that I wanted to advertise. Those who did know recognized that my Spanish has improved from the past and frequently spoke at a level beyond my comprehension. Throughout meals, car rides, and casual water cooler chats, I found myself lost in translation. I was much slower to react, requiring extra time to process what had actually been said and in what language. Once processed, the conversation had naturally moved on without my contribution. Even when I am able to process what has been said, my responses are also coming out in a strange mix of English, French, and Spanish. What I'm able to share is frequently nothing more than short quips and light chatter without much substance on party business. Further to my experience navigating language barriers, there was a casual get-together with my G100 sisters. G100 is an influential group of 100 women leaders around the world, each leading one of 100 wings supported by country, state, and regional chairs, working towards powerful advocacy, awareness, and impact across governments and global organizations for a gender-equal future. I am the Ontario chair of the Security and Defense Wing. One of the things I love to do when I attend COP is to meet my G100 sisters. I frequently met a few who do not speak English, and they are always patient working around the language barrier, but I have never been so aware of it as this time. My sisters this time were no less kind, speaking in English when it would have been much easier for everyone to speak in Spanish, and really, I felt I should have been the one to accommodate them, since I was the only one who couldn't speak Spanish. And yet, when the conversation switched naturally to Spanish, even in this warm and understanding environment, I felt myself holding back, unable to express myself. No one in the room would have faulted me for my flawed Spanish, or even if I responded in English, but I was still extremely hesitant to offer any of my thoughts and opinions. Moreover, it is rarely mentioned how much your personality becomes hidden when you're not familiar with the language. Your natural responses and instinctive reactions become hindered as you search for the right words, and you begin to question if what you said translates appropriately. You keep your sentences simple to ensure they translate and risk losing what makes your words essentially you. How are people expected to know who I really am when I'm limited to 2 to 3 word answers? As the time of the actual opening of the Assemblea approached, I became more and more nervous. I had never been in a setting where I was required to speak and understand Spanish for such a prolonged period before. The main party business was just as I had feared. I was frequently immobilized into silence, even if I wanted to speak. I was also dependent on those who are better versed in Spanish to speak for me, which means the words were not necessarily my own. My understanding was also not 100%, so I cannot be certain what I missed. In this amiable environment, where everyone worked to make me feel included, I still had concerns about how much I was able to adequately capture from the meetings. Moreover, this was an internal election year, so when I was asked for my thoughts on candidates, I felt paralyzed by my inability to explain why I supported someone. After 2 10-hour business days with intermittent meals and social breaks, all in Spanish, I was also so fatigued that I could no longer tell if someone was speaking to me in Spanish, French, or heavily accented English, and it took me several moments to formulate a response in any language at all. By the time the Asamblea was adjourned, I felt unable to string complete sentences together in any language. In the end, I had an extremely positive experience and was even entrusted with a position myself. I felt a strong motivation to continue to improve my Spanish in order to adequately participate. One delegate from the executive, whom I respect tremendously, told me she really appreciated that I took the time and made the effort to learn Spanish in order to promote and contribute to my federation. What she said really made me feel seen and motivated me to redouble my efforts. I hope that I will be able to fully express my ideas and support my federation in the very near future.